seconds. I believe we are live right now. Good morning. Good morning, everyone, and happy Monday. This is Councilwoman Mai Vang coming to you live from the Heart and Hustle studio. Thank you so much for joining us today. It is around 11:30, so you're probably still at work or gearing up for lunch. Just want to say thank you so much for joining us. We're live on Twitter, on Facebook, and on YouTube. So glad to see all of you here. We're calling this Mondays with Mai. Happy New Year as well. And so I'm just really excited to be here with our incredible panelists. Today, we're going to be talking about arts in District 8. But before we begin, I'd like to actually start this live chat with the land acknowledgement. This is something that the city of Sacramento has implemented. And even with District 8 events and virtual events, I like to make sure that we honor the indigenous folks on the land that we stand on. And so I'd like to start with the land acknowledgement. The history of the Sacramento area and the people is rich in heritage, culture, and tradition. To the original people of this land, the Nisenan people, the Southern Maidu, Valley and Plains Miwok, Patwin, Wintu peoples, and the people of Wilton Rancheria, Sacramento's only federally recognized tribe, may we honor and acknowledge the Native people who came before us and still walk beside us today on these ancestral lands, and by choosing to gather today in the active practice of acknowledgement and appreciation for Sacramento's Indigenous peoples' history, contributions, and lives. Again, welcome again to the Heart and Hustle studio. Thank you so much for joining us. It is our first live chat for 2022. Happy January. Again, thank you again for tuning in with all of us. I'm super excited to have our panelists join us today to talk about arts in the district. We have former council member, the Honorable, my high school teacher, Larry Carr, who's here today virtually with us, along with an incredible panel of artists who's going to speak a little bit about the importance of art in our district. Before we begin, I would just like to go around and do quick introductions for each of the panelists. But I also just wanted to take this opportunity to give a shout out to Shona McDaniels, the founder and CEO of Sojourner Truth African Heritage Museum. She wasn't able to join us today, and I want to take this moment just to send her lots of love and healing for a speedy recovery. So Shona, if you're watching this, just wanted to let you know that we're thinking about you. And the art mural at Valley High looks beautiful. The team has been hustling really hard, and we're all thinking about you and sending you lots of love and healing. So with that, what I'll do is just go around and maybe do a quick introductions of the panelists that's joining me today to talk about the importance of arts in our district, and especially right here in District 8. So with that, I'll just call your name. If you can share your name, your title, how are you connected to South Sac and the arts? And the question that I have for you is what brings you joy? So with that, I'm going to start with my high school teacher, former council member, Larry Carr.
Yes, I'm Larry Carr, former council member from District 8. And it's a pleasure to be here with you today. You know how this all got started from my perspective anyway. When I was first elected, I had a big meeting. And I asked people at the meeting, what did they want me to do now that you've elected me? And we gave everyone 3 dots to put on a butcher block paper that we had spread all around the room. And to be honest with you, Shona McDaniels stuffed the ballot box. And she brought a bunch of people. I think she brought 10 people. And she had all of those 10 people put all of their stickers on art. So art came up really high. Now, this is a microcosm of democracy. It really goes to the people that show up and the people that vote. And because she showed up and she voted, art got to be really high on our agenda. The district is not a walking district, it's a driving district. So we needed, in my opinion, art that people could see as they drove by, iconic kinds of art that would catch their attention. In the physical world. And the other part of it, we needed art that would bring the community together. With a diverse community like District 8, made up of, was anyway, I'm not sure of the demographics now, but it was almost evenly divided between whites, blacks, Hispanics, and Asians. And what can bring people like that together? They live next to each other, but they don't associate with each other. They don't party with each other. So how can we bring them together to make a real community? And that's where the other part that art comes in. So to have festivals, anything that you can do, written word, spoken word, singing, dancing, uh, amateur performances have been very successful in the district. Anything that you can do to draw the district, to draw the people in the district together, to be in the same room at the same time.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Councilmember
I know
Carr.
it's probably more than what you asked for.
No, it's all good. It's all good. That just means I won't ask you a specific question, but I'm really glad you were super thorough. And I'm just excited to have you back on. I think folks are tuning in now. And if you're just tuning in, just to let you know, today our live chat is talking about the importance of arts in South Sacramento. We're just going around doing introduction to each of the panelists that's on. So with that, Leonardo, why don't you introduce yourself, share your name, your title, and how long have you been in the arts?
My name is Leonardo Moleiro. Thank you for having me. I'm super happy and excited to be part of this amazing team. I'm an artist, I'm a creative director, graphic designer, art director, and spend my life working in advertising, TV shows, and artwork galleries, and for my show, my artwork around the world. And then now I'm super happy to bring colors and my graphic shapes and my graphic cubism, as I call my own artwork, to the city. And I'm just expecting and super happy to work with you guys. And thank you for having me again. And let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm super excited. And we'll make sure to also share a little bit about the work that we'll be doing with Leonardo. So super excited to announce what we'll be doing in South Sacramento as well. Zach, why don't you introduce yourself, name, title, and how long have you been in the arts?
My name is Zachary Coffin. I don't really have a title, artist, I guess. I've been in the arts professionally for almost 30 years. Basically, right out of school, I went to art school in New York, and I realized that I wanted to spend my time building art that was directly interactive with the public. A lot of it was a reaction to the sort of white walls of the New York art world and the preciousness. So I wanted to do something very different.
Awesome, Zach. So happy to have you on here. And I know we're going to be talking about a really awesome art piece that's already installed in South Sacramento, and folks will be hearing about it shortly. Donald, introduce yourself.
Hi, yes, thanks for having me. I'm Donald Gensler with the Office of Arts and Culture here at the City of Sacramento. And I've been involved in the arts for the last 25 years. As a practicing artist, and currently, as an arts administrator, working with the city to help, really promote and elevate and give opportunities to artists and communities to have art and culture throughout the entire city. So you asked before what brings me joy, and what really has brought me some joy lately is to truly see artists all over this city. And working sometimes collaboratively with community members in different ways. We all work in many different ways. And it just really does bring me just incredible joy to see people interacting with artists. I tend to work predominantly with visual artists through our Art in Public Places program, but I'm also thrilled to see just pop-up performances and things happening. Art and culture is such a vital part of a healthy, growing city.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Donald, for sharing. And also just thank you for all the great work you're doing at the city to make sure that we have more arts, not just in the central city, which is great, but making sure that we have arts throughout all of Sacramento neighborhoods. So just really thank you so much for your heart and hustle. So the first question I have for all of you is, what led you to deciding to get involved with the arts? Whether as an artist, a community leader, now a staff at the city of Sacramento, or an artist, would love to hear your story of how you decided to get involved with the arts. And Councilmember Carr, we'll come to you last so that you have some time to think about this one. So I'll start with Leonardo. Leonardo, if you can share with us, what led you to decide to getting involved with the arts as an artist?
Wow, this is for me since I was child, and spent my whole childhood painting posters and painting walls, murals. Actually, in my school, when I was kid, I won a big prize in my country painting murals in my town, in my cities, and I spent my life paintings, thinking, creating stuff, working in advertising, working in doing stuff for TV shows and in galleries and more than 25 years. And for me, it's my life and paint and play tennis. That's my two stuff like I love to do. But really, it's I don't know. I'm paint since I was kid and just it's my part of my life and it's my what I do every day and I'm super grateful to and have the opportunity to lead with my through my artwork and for my stuff, for my creative stuff, and and I'm here.
Yeah, no, that's super excited. And just hearing that, like, really, this passion for the arts started not just right now, but since you were a young kid, right? And I mean, that's really exciting, and that's the reason why I also it makes me think about the mural project that we had at Valley High, that activation mural project that Donald and staff and Shona had led, and I saw so many kids out there painting just the wall and how they were giddy
Yeah,
and excited.
yeah.
They
You
were
know,
all
for
go
me,
ahead.
for me, it was super important my parents' support. No, my
Mhm.
parents support my ideas. Every day, always. In the moment to decide to the college to study an engineer or medical stuff or mathematics, everything. I want to go to the art school,
Yeah.
and that's what my father said. Oh, if you want to become an artist, okay, let's go. And for me now, it's important to the parents support, the whole family
Mm,
support when some kids want to dedicate to the art
yeah.
and yeah.
That's so great. Thanks, Leonardo, for sharing that. And if we have any parents on right now, you got a kid that's interested in the arts, right? Leonardo is saying, allow their creativity and support their passion. Yeah, I mean, it
Yeah,
makes me think, yeah, no, that's so awesome, and that's an awesome message, Leonardo, to make sure that we
yeah.
send that to our
Let
parents.
me let me finish with something.
Yeah.
Anecdote. When my room, my bedroom, and use my bedroom like my walls, like my wall for my mirrors. I always paint my walls, and I always paint everything in my room. And my aunt say, my father, hey, why do you allow the kids to paint the whole room every time, every day, and everything is painted in his room? He said, well, it's his room. If he want to become an artist, he want to paint. It's his room. That's it. Let's work the creative. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Thank you, Leonardo, for sharing that
Yeah.
with us. It's beautiful. Zach, what about you? How did you get involved with the arts? What led you to deciding that you wanted to be part of the arts, or kinetic art in particular?
Well, it was a little bit accidental. When I was in high school, I got very involved in photography and realized that I was very good technically at using machines and devices to, express a sort of visual phenomena. And then I got a job at a daily newspaper and shot photographs for almost 3 years right out of high school. And then through that, I got into a very fancy art school in New York and realized then that I was really good at building things. I was really good with tools and manipulating materials to do what I wanted to do. And that exploration, and as I mentioned a little bit earlier, the New York art scene is so precious and so, especially in that time when the whole the phenomena that we're dealing with now, this sort of really badly made contemporary art that's dominating the market. And I sort of realized that I wanted to do something that was very egalitarian and involve people of all walks of life and all education and knowledge and experience. And the way that I realized to do that was to build really big outdoor toys. So I started to explore how to make, really big objects that people would encounter in the outside world, in the real world, and make them directly interactive, so that we would use the physicality of the human to activate the art and change their perception of what's possible in the world. And that's led to a lot of crazy things and a lot of crazy experimentation and a lot of failure, because it's really, really hard to do. Kinetic art, especially outdoor, unmonitored kinetic art, is really hard. And that led down a couple different paths. One was exploring wind powered art and places where you could kind of hang out and experience it. And that's sort of what happened for the Pinnell Center, because you have to react to the environment that the art is in. And the other really big realm that I'm involved in is I make these very, very heavy rocks that people can play with, that people can spin. So I've done commissions all over the world of 11 and 12,000 pound boulders that you can spin with a push. Young kids can spin and so on. And all of these things are really about changing the way people perceive of what is art, and also how you can involve yourself with art, and wanting to create a much more dynamic and democratic approach to art. So that's kind of what led me to where I am now. And then along the way, there's been incredible technical struggles to make it all work, because sculpture is really a very difficult medium, especially outdoor public art.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Zach, for sharing that. I know we're going to be following up on the Pinnell kinetic art piece in a little bit. Really appreciate you sharing that insight. And I think one thing that you said that really spoke to me is really art is really about activation, right? How does it interact with the community, which is a huge part of the reason why I believe it's so important to make sure that we have, more arts here in South Sacramento. Donald, what about you? How did you come across this? Like, when did you wake up one morning and decide I'm going to have a career in the arts?
Yeah, I'm not really sure how it evolved. It always was something that I was doing growing up, spending a lot of time outdoors, just making things. And I realized that that I was pretty successful at it, and that it brought me a lot of happiness to be able to make things, whether they were 2-dimensional things or 3-dimensional things. And so I really feel quite blessed and privileged to have the opportunity to be working within the arts. It's not an easy road by any means. After college, I ended up working for the National Endowment for the Arts, teaching in schools and communities all around the Mid-South. I had gone to college in New York and then moved down to Arkansas. And then I ended up going to Philadelphia, where I received a master's in fine arts at the University of Pennsylvania and went on to teach there in their fine art program for 10 years. So I've had a great life in the arts that continues now in terms of my studio work. But what my real interest now is the opportunity to kind of pay it forward, actually. And so, when I heard Leonardo talking about parents supporting, there's so many people, certainly my parents, but there's so many people who I met along the way in my journey that have supported me, and that gave me a chance and showed me how to make things work as a working artist. Mm-hmm. And so I really feel like the work that I do for the city now, I'm trying to do the same thing. I'm trying to create the kind of opportunities and programs with folks like yourselves, and former council member Carr here with us. I mean, all these people that believe in arts and culture, that it matters, And I think that, I don't know, I just have felt this great opportunity to be able to work with artists, especially in a city like Sacramento that has so much talent, so much opportunity for artists and artist communities. So that's what's been really kind of exciting for me lately is this opportunity to support artists and to bring artists together from different places, both from within and from outside of the city, so that we could kind of start a larger dialogue amongst creative folks. And then most recently, also making sure that dialogue also involves, active collaboration, even sometimes with community members. And so for me, that's really exciting stuff. Again, I still am fortunate to be able to, work in my studio on my own things, but I also really enjoy helping out others in this in this world of kind of art and culture.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Donald, and for really just sharing basically how you basically end up in the arts. And again, like I said, we're just so grateful for your leadership at the city to ensure that we can really infuse art in everything that we do. I think something you touched upon, Donald, was really about the importance of arts and culture and how I even see it as a really vital to our economy as a councilwoman. One question that I have for all of you, and maybe Councilmember Carr, you could take this one first, is what's the importance of having publicly funded art in South Sacramento? Because this is something, everything also comes down to funding and dollars, right? And would love to hear your perspective on the importance of making sure we have publicly funded art in South Sac.
Well, when you go to the great cities of the world, you see public art everywhere. And Sacramento as a whole is dearth of public art, by the way. Need a lot more. But certainly in the cities that you go to, even if they have great art downtown, like Austin, Texas, for example, which has great art downtown, you go into the neighborhood, you don't see any. And it gives the people the impression who live there, and it gives me the impression when I lived there, that nobody cared. Mm-hmm. They didn't care enough to put something that would stimulate me. They didn't care enough to have something that would cause me to talk to my neighbors about. So the government funding of public art is crucial to dispel that notion that people do care. And we care enough about you that we're going to put things out that are beautiful, that are stimulating, that are iconic, and to prove that we do care about the people in the community. So if you don't have anything, it kind of says, we don't care about you.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Thanks, Council Member. I remember when I was a staffer in your office, one of the very first project that I had opportunity to work on was the box wraps on the corridor of Florin and Mac Road. And really grateful. We wrapped about 30 boxes with local artists and artists outside of Sacramento. And it was incredibly powerful. And I think many of the community members that I spoke to, was so grateful that we now had our box wrapped on Florin. Folks and kids in South Sacramento could see art literally down the street from their house. And it was something that was really powerful. I know that we expanded that to the business corridor on Mac Road by Kaiser Permanente as well, led by Donald. And that was really, really powerful. Really hoping there's some new boxes up now. It's a blank canvas. So we're hoping to wrap those too. But you're absolutely right. I mean, that's where the equity piece comes in, and making sure that we don't just have arts in downtown, but really spread out throughout our entire neighborhood. This question is also for you, Donald.
And you did a great job on that too, mine. So did you, Donald. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Councilmember. It was led by the community. I just facilitated the logistics, but they all, voted for the artists. It was a community process. It was really beautiful how engaging the community was for the box wrap. So, Donald, this question is for you too, as a city staffer as well. But, what is the importance of really making sure we have publicly funded art in South Sacramento as someone who has to implement?
Yeah. No. So this was something that for me, when I kind of about 25 years ago, when I started to really work with communities in terms of the art that I was making, I realized I had this kind of epiphany. I was like, not everybody has had, some of the opportunities that I had.
Mhm.
And so, we as a city, I think we need to recognize also, and this does go to that equity piece that you were talking about. We need to give everybody the opportunity to interact with art and culture that is funded, that means that the city cares about it and the city supports that kind of growth and learning throughout neighborhoods and communities. I think that's something that a publicly funded work says. It says we care about this. We're going to put our dollars behind it. We care about seeing art and culture, like any great civilizations throughout history that have supported art and culture in some way, to recognize the importance of that. Really recognize, to give people something to hold on to in their lives. And then also recognize the importance of finding ways for those people, those artists that choose to spend their life making art, that we as a city can find some ways to support them as well financially. And sometimes that means through creating different types of projects and programs that artists can work on and learn through. And also it means sometimes just directly granting money, which our office does as well through its grant program, and then which you all as city council members support. So this is all intertwined, and I really do think that it is important for the city to show the residents and visitors that art and culture matters. So we're going to put our dollars behind supporting it as well.
Yes. And speaking of dollar supporting an art project, there is an art project that was just finished. The installation just completed last week. Super excited that we're going to be having a ribbon cutting ceremony that I'm going to be sharing about in a few minutes. But really wanted to take this opportunity to talk to Zach and Councilmember Carr regarding the Pinnell Center Kinetic Art installation. Zach, my question for you in particular is, why did you choose this design for the Pinnell Center? What was your inspiration and how was it like to create this? And Councilmember Carr, feel free to chime in as well. I know that you and Zach have had an opportunity to have conversation before the installation, and would love for both of you to kind of share just a thought process, of the kinetic art installation that we now have in the heart of South Sacramento and Meadowview. So Zach, did you want to take that one first?
Yeah, sure. Donald actually came to me. I guess you guys had seen a piece that I had finished some years earlier that was based on the murmuration of birds. It was a wind-powered sculpture, very complex piece. It took me about 8 years to finish it. And so they approached me and said they would like something kind of similar. And I somewhat foolishly agreed to do it, especially at the budget. So I came out and I saw the site, and it became clear to me that I needed to create there was two aspects that had to be, that were really the main focus. One was to activate the space in a way that that passerbys and visitors to the community center could use the space, so make it very accessible and inviting. And the other is to create a tall, iconic piece that would be visible to the incredible amounts of traffic going by there, which is a very, very busy intersection. So from there, we came and we had sort of a community discussion, talking about the nature of Sacramento and what's going on in that area. And it became clear to me that what's really critical about Sacramento is the nature of the landscape, and the fact that you guys basically have a city on mud, and it's been shaped by wind and water, primarily. So the inspiration, so I worked with a really top-notch computer guy to work out a way to kind of create these sails that would reflect wind and water, and that's sort of the inspiration. And then we got into some algorithmic process to make the sails, and kept working on iterations until there was something that I found visually stimulating. So that was the sails, and then the wind powered piece. And then for the base, I created this this circle of pipe, basically, that is designed to be specifically at seating height. So to create a sort of a place you can enter and hang out with all your friends. And so I'm really hoping that it becomes a space where you can hang out with your friends, and it's really inclusive, but there's this shiny, bright objects in motion all the time above you in the sky, basically, in the thing. So that was sort of the process that led to the building of this piece. It took much longer than I thought, and it cost much more. COVID made everything really hard. Costs went way up, and I had to redesign things that I thought that I already had designed. So the process was a little painful on this one, I'll admit. It was, yeah, I'm glad to have it done, though, and I'm happy with the piece.
Awesome. No, thank you. I have had an opportunity to be out there before it was installed, and now that it's been installed, it's absolutely beautiful. And I can't wait to have the community see it, especially when we do the ribbon cutting. It's up already. So if you're watching this live chat and you want to drive by, you can. You could drive by 24th and Meadowview, and you'll see the installation, the kinetic art piece. It is beautiful.
Councilmember Vang?
Yes.
Could I add something real quick? I mean, I think also we should know that you know, Councilmember Carr had a vision that, you know, when you come to Pinnell, and Councilmember, I'll let you talk about it yourself if you would, but you know, that you would notice that this would be something that you would notice, and he really had that kind of vision to say, like, I would love to see something that moves. And so we were able to offer by invitation to about 5 different artists, some local, some around the country, to basically interview them. And so it was a really interesting opportunity to think about, how do we, you know, make this Pinnell Center something that when you come down Meadowview or 24th, you're going to see this, and you're going to know that this is something important to the city. Councilmember Carr, did I characterize that correctly, or would you like to add anything?
I think you got it. You got it right, Donald. The thing was that we wanted something that would show motion, life, activity. And we wanted something that was easily viewed as people would drive down the street. As well as what Zach said, people who live around can go congregate there. But as the thousands of people who go through the intersection at 24th and Meadowview, we wanted something iconic there that stands out that no other district has in this city. And I think District 8, by the way, is leading the city in neighborhood art. But something that no other area in the city would have, that would be us, that we could look at this and say, this is ours. The government cares enough about us to put something stimulating here. This is inspirational. And all of the different groups that make up District 8 can look at this and have the same appreciation, even though they come from different cultures, different ethnicities, different backgrounds. They can all look at this and say, this is nice, this is art, this is something, this is unique, this is us, this is Meadowview.
Absolutely. No, it's a beautiful, Zach, it is a beautiful kinetic art, and I can't wait for the community to see it if they haven't already. And that's not just like the end of arts at the Pinnell Center, because my office will be hosting the State of District 8 on February 26th as well. That's February 26th on a Saturday at 10 a.m. And right after that, we're actually going to have a community activation mural event from 12 to 3. And there is, right next to Kinetic Art, there is this brick kind of building that's really small, but it's visible. You can see it. And Leonardo, actually, I'd like to announce it here, is going to be helping us to actually create the vision for that and ensure that everyone who participates, who's there, can actually engage in the painting process. So really super excited for that. Leonardo, I don't want you to share too much, but would love you maybe just share a little bit about what might be happening, kind of your thoughts around the art piece that will be happening at the brick building right next to the kinetic piece.
Yes. No, for me, I'm trying to do something. I love the. I was there last week in the site, looking the amazing artwork, the kinetic sculpture. I watched the stuff in live there, and I'm trying to do something geometric with my like my artwork
Mhm.
to get some match between the kinetic sculpture and my artwork. I try to not invite the place with too much colors. You know, that's why I use just straight the no the whole wall, just the straight. And I'm gonna leave one side of the on the block white just for the people with the sign, just for try to paint with the people there that day, and then get some feedback with the people and put the colors and try to enjoy that day. And now for me it's I just try to drive my artwork to put colors in that place. And in my renders, in my schedule, everything's gonna work perfectly. The kinetic artwork, the colors, and I can't wait to start to put
Yeah,
colors
we
in that
can't
block.
wait as well. I love just being out with the community, with artists, and activation is a big part of it. So thank you, Leonardo, for just sharing us a small glimpse. But I do just want to share with folks, save the date, February 26th for the state of District 8. But shortly after, from 12 to 3, we're going to be having an art activation, and would love all of you to join us. We'll make sure that we're following COVID procedures and protocol. We'll be safe, but it's going to be really exciting time, and really grateful that
Yeah,
Leonardo is going to be our main artist, helping to lead that. I know
yes.
we're,
I'm
go
gonna
ahead.
be there. I'm gonna be there since 19. I think I arrived to Sacramento on 19 at the whole week painting. Everybody's welcome to join with me. Everybody want to pass through there and help me in Sunday. For me, it's welcome.
Awesome.
And we'll have more information about this. This has all just come together, and actually, I think it's just so wonderful, Councilmember Vang, that that you welcomed us to kind of bookend your state of D8 coming up, and I think it's a kind of a wonderful opportunity for folks to come out and help paint a mural with Leonardo and his team. They worked with a number of students at Pinnell over the summer, and we had some different locations that we were looking at. But when we finally settled on this one, I think it's really going to be quite wonderful and very accessible to people if you want to paint and be part of that process. We'll have more information also on our website for Community Murals, Sacramento.org. And so we'll make sure that, Councilmember, that your office has all that information about the art component on that Saturday as well. But thank you very much for allowing us to be a part of that exciting day, really.
I know it's gonna be a lot of fun, and we'll make sure to also share that information out in our newsletter. And we have about a month away from it, so we still have some time, but really excited to also share that quick preview with all of you. I know we have to get off shortly here. I just got a signal from my team, but before we go, I do want to ask you all one question. And this question is for all of you. What is one advice you would give to a South Sacramentan who is interested in being an artist? What one advice would you have for them? An advice that you would give to an upcoming artist.
Well, I always tell people that if you want to do it for a career, make sure it's the only thing you want to do, because it's probably the hardest thing you're going to try to do. So you have to be driven to try to do it as a career. Yeah, and it's I'd say in the 30 years that I've been doing art, it's gotten harder in America to be an artist. So it's yeah, I don't know. Make sure it's the only thing you want to do, basically.
I think that's really good advice. I used to say that to my art students at the University of Pennsylvania all the time. Make sure that you're serious about this if this is what you want to do for a career. But I would say also find artists like Zach or Leonardo. Go out there and find them and ask them about what they do in their work, and help them out if they have the time and inclination to be able to do that. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised that a lot of artists are very much willing to help and give advice to other younger artists that are getting started. You're still going to have to do the work. You have to do the work, but reach out to some artists that are doing this for a career and really learn from them. That's some important advice, I think.
Awesome. Thanks, Donald. Leonardo, what about you? What advice do you have for an upcoming artist?
For me, it's simple: commitment.
Mm.
Commitment with the site, commitment with people, commitment with the city, commitment with your own work, commitment with your thing, with your ideas, and went to the site 3 times just for looking for a meet with Donald, with the people there, just for make sure everything's gonna be okay, for feel the site, good look the new sculpture, and that's commitment. As always, if you don't have commitment with your work, nothing's gonna be good, and that's my advice.
Thanks, Leonardo. And for you, council member, I was going to change the question a little bit, but, for other electeds or activists or community folks on the ground, I will commit publicly that the art is something that I'm incredibly passionate about. We'll do everything we can to make sure that we direct dollars to South Sacramento to have more arts, but definitely want to hear from you, just an advice to folks that want to push more arts in Sacramento. Any advice as a former council member, a retired council member, as folks are watching this, what can we do to push for more?
Formerly honorable.
Formerly honorable. What can we do as ordinary citizens to push for more arts in the city?
Well, I think, my philosophy was for art and almost everything else. If someone has an idea about art for District 8 and it's positive, I urge you to approach your council member and let them know that here is your idea and if it's positive. And my philosophy was, if it's positive, if it's going to uplift the community, we're going to find a way to make it happen. So the only limit is your dreams. And don't let money limit you. Don't let time limit you. What is your dream for this city? What is your dream for this district? And if it's a positive thing, we'll find a way to make it happen.
And with that, I definitely want to close with that. Council member, super inspirational about, don't limit your dream, right? Don't let any of that limit your dream. If you have an amazing idea, pitch it. Let us know. Let Team Heart and Hustle know, and we'll do what we can to make it happen, to make it a reality. I just want to take this opportunity to thank Zach, Leonardo, former retired honorable council member Larry Carr, and Donald for joining us today for our Mondays with Mai in the Heart and Hustle studio. Just a quick reminder to all the viewers, please join us this week, Wednesday, February 2nd at 10 a.m. at 2450 Mediview Road. We're going to officially have the ribbon cutting ceremony for our Pinnell Kinetic Art. Would love for all of you to join us. Make sure to mask up, even though we're outdoors. We will be hosting this event, but safely with protocols, and really encouraging that if you live in the Mediview community, feel free to swing by at 10 o'clock for that. I also want to remind folks that we are doing the State of District 8 on Saturday, February 26th. And actually at the State of District 8, what we're also going to be doing is honoring and recognizing amazing, incredible leaders in our district. We want to recognize an educator of the year, a youth leader of the year, a community leader of the year, a community organization, a small business, and a city staff. So that's probably 7 or 8 awards that we want to honor every year. So if you know someone, if you know a youth, an educator, a community leader, a community organization, a small business, or a city staff that has hella heart and hustle that's been working hard for this community, please submit your nomination at heartandhustle.org/nominate. So we're encouraging everyone to send in their nomination, and we'll be announcing the winners at the State of District 8. And then shortly after that, I know we mentioned this during our panel talk, is that there's going to be a community mural activation event right after that from 12 to 3. So make sure you stay and join us. If you can't participate in the State of District 8, we'll have that virtually streamed as well. So you can watch it from your home, and then at 12 o'clock, come over to Pinal and be part of the community activation event. And then lastly, I have office hours every Wednesdays from 4 to 5. If you would like to meet with me, if that time doesn't work out, please feel free to reach out to my team. You can contact us at district8@cityofsacramento.org, or you can call us at 916-808-7008. You can also follow us on social media. My handle is the same on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It's at CMMyVang on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So follow us there. Join our bi-weekly newsletter. We send out information about what's happening bi-weekly, the progress in District 8, grants, any opportunities happening in the city of Sacramento. So with that, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. Again, thank you, Zach, Leonardo, Donald, and my high school teacher, former council member, the Honorable Council Member Larry Carr. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a great week, everyone. It is the end of January, and next month is already February. So also want to wish all of you a happy New Year's. If I haven't had a chance to see you yet, it is still, I will still say it's happy New Year's because we're still in January, right? But again, have a safe, fun weekend, everyone. And hopefully I'll see you all at the ribbon cutting on Wednesday. If not, then we'll be together soon. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a great week.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Councilmember. Bye, everybody.